What's going on with China?
And then remember, I told you though. And
Oh boy.
no, it's just a reminder. The head of ISIS is literally harbored in Syria by Abu Muhammad Al Galani. So anyone saying we're fighting ISIS and the head of ISIS is in Syria and nobody's talking about that is feeding you a bunch of shit. That's all. So China's interesting because China, I don't know if you saw the recent national defense strategy, but it's changed.
Really? How so?
So China was previously kind of viewed as like our number one military threat, and they moved it back to strategic competition.
What?
Yeah. So now our biggest military threat is like threats to the U.S. homeland, but China's no longer our number one military threat. So now it's back to deterrence, dominance, but it's from the economic side, they're back to targeting China, which is interesting. And then, of course, always a cyber piece. So now with the new strategy, the government's changed. So we're not really focused on kind of one-upping the Chinese military. We're focused on economic related things. So, which some of these are very, very good, but we still got to focus on the military. So it's, let's get rid of some of our dependence on China. Right? Let's make stockpiles of rare earth minerals, for example. Let's find different supply routes for maybe AI infrastructure, telecommunications, those type of things. But yeah, so yeah, it's back to economic strategic competition. So that is a big change. I'm surprised not a lot of people picked up on it, actually.
Man, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it was just in the last week or two.
Tell you what we ought to be focused on is our power grid.
Yeah.
When it comes to China.
And hopefully now
Strategic competition?
the good thing about the shift in policy, if it's done in that way, then the focus should be not allowing China to have access to our grid or own ports of the port. So if they really do shift and focus on those things, it will be huge wins. It's just we haven't done that well, strategic competition in the past. So I hope someone's going to change that. Because if we just go back to the way we used to do it, well, we were failing.
JNIM surging in Africa.
Yeah, I mean, as you can
I
imagine,
haven't heard anything about this. What is this?
well, as you know, when everybody focuses when everyone focuses one place on terrorism, it's just surges somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. So JNIM is basically Al Qaeda's main affiliate in North Africa if you ignore AQIM and Al-Shabaab, okay? So it's kind of equal to them, but it's a whole different group. And JNIM is really interesting because it doesn't need as much money as other terrorist groups. They make all their own income. Like they have gold mines. They actually have a tax infrastructure. People have to pay them for protection, almost like if you lived under a mafia. So what they've done is they've been really smart and they targeted that kind of the collapsing governments in the weak states. So Mali, Burkina Faso, and then you saw we got kicked out of Niger. So they're starting now to kind of play around in Niger. So they're slowly having really massive gains in these locations into Al Qaeda. They're viewing it as the caliphate plan. You know, let's take Mali, let's take Burkina Faso. And it's been like a really successful initiative and nobody's paying attention to it. But also it's very interesting. I want to say it was about 4 months ago, a very famous terrorist showed up in Burkina Faso. His name is Abu Muhammad Al Masri. We talked about him previously. He's the father-in-law of Hamza bin Laden, but he's the terrorist that I told you the U.S. government believes he's dead. So the terrorists did this really interesting ruse. They fed misinformation to us, and Israel ended up carrying out an operation on him in Iran. And they teed up the assassination the terrorists did for the anniversary of the 1998 attack, so August 7th. So think about it. If you kill a terrorist on the exact anniversary of the attack, wouldn't you as a man with like common sense be like, this seems too perfect? But our government never thought it. So our government has him as dead. So he's alive. So he's running these operations for JNIM from core Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, but he deployed and he's on the ground in Burkina Faso, which is crazy. This is one of the most famous terrorists in the entire world. We aren't even targeting him. And that's why these operations are going so successfully, because he's running it. Like he was one of the key masterminds of the 1998 plots. So it's just this frustrating thing. He also got put on, and he's now the number 2 on the military commission for JNIM. But think about it. If you're a terrorist and you convince America you're dead, well, then no one's collecting on you. Yeah. And Al-Qaeda's done this very, very successfully. I found this other famous terrorist recently. His name's Abu Jihad al-Masri. So you remember when there was the huge airline plot, and then we all had to go to like the 3-ounce liquids? Okay, you know.
Yep.
So there was a terrorist that we went after for that, Rashid Rauf, okay? So he goes and he's hiding in Waziristan like everyone else, and we bomb him. And when we bomb him, everyone said, hey, we also killed this Abu Jihad al-Masri, who was one of the heads of Al-Qaeda's external operations. He didn't die. So that was, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So think about it. If you have a head of external operations alive for a whole nother decade and you don't know what he's doing, what was he able to succeed at that time? The government's not collecting on him. What's he been leading? Who's he been working with? Where has he been going? Some of these terrorists is really interesting. They have fake documents and they're getting on airplanes and they're traveling all over the Middle East. Some of the United States' top 10 terrorists. Like a really good example, his name is Hamza al-Ghamdi. So Hamza al-Ghamdi right now is the head of Al-Qaeda's military commission, right? Pretty much.
I mean, we were printing them passports.
Yeah, well, he's flying all over. So he is on the...
Legend broke that, right?
Yeah, he's on the most... Yeah, so that's one thing. Taliban's making these people passports. But just think about it. Head of Al-Qaeda's military commission, one of the top 10 most important terrorists in the world, is flying on airplanes. Nobody knows it's him. Like, that's how bad the system is. So it's not even just that they're making all these passports for terrorists. The senior leaders are traveling around. No one's got a clue. So it's just this super frustrating thing. He used to be Bin Laden's bodyguard. Our government is missing everything. So they think people are dead who aren't. We got senior leaders flying first class around. We have groups meeting and our government doesn't even know the two groups even have a relationship. Like, terrorists have advanced while we ignored them. And we're really going to be hit hard because of this.
Somaliland.
Yeah. So there's obviously everybody's talking about Somalia right now, but Somaliland was really interesting because they're not a recognized country, even though they should be. They're somewhat of a democracy. They follow our rules. They keep terrorism out. But Israel decided to recognize them, and then it became a big hoopla, right? So
why do you think they decided to recognize them?
Because where Somaliland is, it's super critical for trade, and it's a really great place to have a port. Like, to be honest, we should have a port there. We should have a military base there. And Israel's not the only one. UAE's been trying to make the same deal. So the port matters. For the region.
I don't think they're going to turn it into a beach town like Gaza.
No. It's trade.